Can you really live in one of the richest countries in the world for just $1,000 a month? Sounds impossible, right? Well, welcome to Liechtenstein, a tiny European country that's not only stunning but surprisingly affordable. Imagine waking up every day in a place filled with breathtaking landscapes, breathtaking women, and hidden wealth, all while only spending a fraction of what you'd think would be necessary. In the next few minutes, we're going to show you how living in one of the most luxurious countries in the world can actually be within reach for anyone on a budget. Stick around, because this isn't your average travel video. It is about turning everything you thought you knew about cost of living and luxury upside down. You won't believe what we're about to reveal. Liechtenstein might be small in size, but it packs a punch when it comes to luxury living and hidden wealth. Have you ever imagined living in one of the wealthiest countries in Europe on just $1,000 a month? Sounds like a dream, right? Most people would think it's impossible. But this tiny country nestled between Switzerland and Austria is a place where the rich live. But the cost of living is surprisingly affordable. Liechtenstein is often overlooked by travelers who flock to bigger cities like Zurich or Vienna, but it offers so much more than you might expect. With its picturesque landscapes, stunning alpine views, and charming towns, it's a country that's brimming with both natural beauty and hidden opportunities for affordable living. What makes Liechtenstein so special? Well, first off, it's a country of contrasts. It's one of the richest countries in the world in terms of GDP per capita, yet it's also incredibly discreet about its wealth. You won't see the flashy opulence you'd find in places like Monaco or Switzerland. Instead, you'll find a quieter, understated kind of luxury, where fine living meets simplicity. And here's the kicker. You can actually live here for $1,000 a month, even in the heart of the country. When people think of Liechtenstein, they often think of it as a playground for the rich and famous, and yes, it is home to some incredibly wealthy individuals. But what people don't realize is that despite its wealth, the cost of living is surprisingly low compared to other European countries with similar economic status. Imagine living in a country where you can enjoy stunning mountain views, walk through streets lined with history, and experience an exceptional quality of life, all while sticking to a modest budget. So, how does this work? How can such a rich country manage to keep living costs low? It's all about the mix of affordable housing, efficient public transportation, and the quiet luxury that doesn't come with the high price tag you might expect. Sure, you won't be staying in five-star resorts, but the country offers so many opportunities for affordable, yet comfortable living. Rent for a simple apartment in a peaceful town can be incredibly reasonable, and day-to-day expenses like food and transportation are much more affordable than you'd think. But there's more to Liechtenstein than just affordability. This country is also home to some of the most stunning women in Europe, and there's a certain elegance that surrounds everything here, whether it's the way people carry themselves or the way the entire country feels. It's not just about looks. It's about the culture, the charm, and the sophisticated atmosphere that make Liechtenstein so unique. There's something magical about how life here feels effortless, even while surrounded by luxury. By the end of this video, you'll see why Liechtenstein is one of Europe's best-kept secrets. It's not just for the wealthy. It's a place where anyone can experience a slice of the good life. Ready to find out how you can make this work for you? Let's get into it. When people hear about Liechtenstein, they often assume it as an expensive place to live because of its reputation as one of the richest countries in the world. However, the reality might surprise you. Living in Liechtenstein can be much more affordable than you think, especially when compared to other wealthy European countries. First, let's talk about rent. In many famous cities like Zurich or Vienna, rent prices can skyrocket, especially in central areas. But in Liechtenstein, you can find a decent one-bedroom apartment for around $700 to $900 a month in towns like Vaduz or Balzers. That's right. Renting in the capital city, which is often thought to be high-priced, can be surprisingly affordable. Of course, prices can vary depending on the location. But even in more residential areas, you're likely to pay much less than what you'd pay in neighboring Switzerland or Austria. Next, let's discuss food. In most European countries, eating out can quickly add up, especially in touristy areas. However, in Liechtenstein, it's possible to enjoy delicious meals at local restaurants without breaking the bank. A simple lunch or dinner at a local cafe can cost you around $10 to $15, which is pretty reasonable considering the overall affluence of the country. Grocery prices are also manageable. A week's worth of groceries for a single person can cost around $40 to $60, depending on what you buy. Fresh, local produce is available, and you'll find many markets and stores offering good deals. So, whether you're cooking at home or dining out, it's easy to stick to a budget. Transportation in Liechtenstein is another area where you'll find savings. Unlike other European cities where public transportation can be expensive, the system here is both efficient and affordable. A monthly public transport pass costs around $50 to $70, making it easy to get around the country without spending a lot on taxis or private vehicles. The buses and trains are well connected, and the country is small enough that you don't need to worry about long commutes. For those who enjoy walking or cycling, that's an option too. Liechtenstein is a very walkable country, and with its beautiful landscapes, it's the perfect place for a stroll or a bike ride. Utilities are another area where Liechtenstein stands out for its affordability. On average, the cost for electricity, heating, and water for a small apartment will be around $100 to $150 per month. That's much lower than what you'd pay in other European countries, where energy costs can be higher. Internet is also relatively affordable, with monthly plans costing between $40 to $60, depending on the provider. When compared to other countries, Liechtenstein's cost of living might seem surprisingly low. Take Zurich, for example. Rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Zurich can easily reach $2,500 to $2,000 a month. The cost of groceries, dining out, and public transportation can also be much higher there. Similarly, cities like Vienna, Salzburg, or Munich have higher rent and living costs, particularly when it comes to housing and dining. Liechtenstein, despite being a financial powerhouse, has found a way to keep living costs lower while still offering a high quality of life. So, how is this possible in a country known for its wealth? Well, the key lies in the way Liechtenstein balances its economy. While it is known for its thriving financial sector, the country is small enough that the demand for real estate and services is more manageable. The cost of living here doesn't skyrocket as it does in larger, more crowded cities. The local economy is strong, but the government has created an environment where living costs are kept reasonable, even as the country attracts wealthy individuals and businesses. What makes Liechtenstein even more attractive is that, despite the affordability, the standard of living remains exceptionally high. The country offers well-maintained infrastructure, access to excellent health care, and a strong education system. Public services are top-notch, and the country's cleanliness and safety make it an ideal place to live, even on a tight budget. In short, living in Liechtenstein is a lot more affordable than most people would expect. Whether you're looking for a quiet village experience or a more cosmopolitan vibe in the capital, there are plenty of options that won't empty your wallet. With reasonable rent, low food costs, affordable transportation, and inexpensive utilities, it's possible to live well without spending a fortune. So, if you've ever thought that wealthy countries are out of your financial reach, think again. Liechtenstein is a hidden gem for those looking to enjoy a high standard of living without breaking the bank. Liechtenstein is one of the smallest countries in the world, but don't let its size fool you. It's one of the wealthiest. Tucked between Switzerland and Austria, this tiny principality is often overshadowed by its larger neighbors. But when it comes to wealth, it has a reputation that rivals some of the most affluent places on Earth. While its stunning natural beauty and charming towns may give the impression of a quaint, peaceful country, Liechtenstein is, in fact, a global financial powerhouse. Let's start with its financial sector. Liechtenstein's banking system is known for being secure, private, and highly efficient. The country has built a reputation as one of the most important tax havens in the world, with an intricate and highly attractive system of tax laws. Unlike larger countries that require extensive regulatory oversight, Liechtenstein has successfully managed to maintain a relatively low tax environment while still being fully compliant with international financial standards. This makes it a prime location for international businesses and high net worth individuals to manage their assets. In fact, the country's banking sector is one of the cornerstones of its economy. Liechtenstein has a long history of providing financial services, and today, its banking system is worth billions of dollars. The banks here specialize in wealth management, private banking, and investment services, making it an essential hub for the ultra-rich. These institutions are often discreet, offering clients the privacy and exclusivity they seek while remaining fully integrated into the global financial system. With fewer regulations than many other countries, Liechtenstein's banks provide services that attract investors, multinational corporations, and private clients from all corners of the globe. Many of the world's top financial players trust the country with their assets, knowing they can benefit from the tax advantages and confidentiality that Liechtenstein's system provides. Another factor that has contributed to Liechtenstein's status as a financial haven is its status as a member of the European Economic Area, EEA, but not a member of the European Union. This unique position allows Liechtenstein to operate under its own set of financial rules and regulations, while still enjoying the benefits of being closely integrated with the EU. This flexibility has made it an attractive destination for businesses looking to benefit from European market access without facing some of the more stringent regulations imposed on EU countries. Liechtenstein's wealth is also reflected in its role as a global tax hub. The country's business-friendly tax laws make it one of the best places for multinational companies to set up holding companies, trusts, and foundations. Corporate taxes in Liechtenstein are incredibly low, which allows companies to minimize their tax liabilities while enjoying all the benefits of operating within a highly regulated, secure environment. This environment has fostered the growth of numerous multinational companies that have established offices in Liechtenstein, making it a thriving business center despite its small size. This economic strategy has paid off well for the country. Liechtenstein's wealth per capita is among the highest in the world. The country boasts one of the world's lowest unemployment rates, which speaks volumes about the strength of its economy. In fact, even though its population is just around 39,000 people, the country's GDP is consistently strong, thanks in large part to its thriving financial sector. The majority of its income comes from its financial services industry, including banking, asset management, and investment services, but also from its manufacturing sector, which includes high-tech companies and luxury goods production. While it may not have the overt luxury of places like Monaco or Switzerland, Liechtenstein has managed to fly under the radar of many people, especially when it comes to its wealth. Despite its high-income economy, it doesn't boast the flashy signs of wealth that you might expect. There are no towering skyscrapers in the capital city Vaduz. Instead, the country is known for its picturesque landscapes, charming streets, and small-town feel. This humble exterior contrasts starkly with the immense wealth that lies beneath the surface. There are no ostentatious displays of opulence here. In fact, Liechtenstein is known for its quiet luxury, where wealth is maintained without the need for constant showmanship. This contrast between the country's outward appearance and its financial status has a long history. In the early 20th century, Liechtenstein was a largely agricultural society, with its economy relying on farming and traditional industries. But as global trade increased, the country began to shift its focus towards banking and financial services. The 1920s marked the beginning of this shift, and by the 1970s, Liechtenstein had established itself as a global player in finance. The creation of the country's First private banking laws in 1926 set the foundation for the banking industry that exists today. Over the years, Liechtenstein's financial services industry has been continually refined and expanded. By the early 2000s, the country became a global leader in wealth management, and its low-tax environment became one of its biggest draws for international investors. In addition to its banking sector, Liechtenstein also developed a reputation for providing world-class services in areas such as estate planning, asset protection, and tax optimization. The country's role as a financial hub has only continued to grow, and today it's home to numerous multinational corporations, financial institutions, and high-net-worth individuals who flock to the country for its wealth management expertise and tax advantages. One of the key reasons that Liechtenstein's wealth remains so hidden is the country's cultural attitude towards privacy and discretion. Liechtensteiners value their privacy, and the country's legal system supports this, offering legal protections for clients' financial information. This culture of discretion has helped maintain the country's appeal as a safe and private place to manage wealth, away from the prying eyes of the public or the media. This is why Liechtenstein isn't often mentioned alongside the world's more famous tax havens like the Cayman Islands or Bermuda. It operates in the shadows, quietly and efficiently, providing services for some of the wealthiest individuals and businesses in the world while maintaining a calm, modest exterior. Today, despite its modest size and quiet appearance, Liechtenstein's economy is a force to be reckoned with. The country's financial system, its thriving sectors of high-tech manufacturing and luxury goods, and its incredible wealth per capita make it a small but mighty player in the global economy. While it may not boast the large-scale luxury of other rich European countries, its financial infrastructure and business-friendly policies make it one of the best-kept secrets in the world when it comes to hidden wealth. It's a place where the ultra-rich can quietly thrive, and where anyone who understands the system can take advantage of its financial opportunities. So, while Liechtenstein may not be the first country that comes to mind when you think of global financial centers, its hidden wealth and role as a tax haven make it a uniquely powerful player in the global economy. And even though the country's outward appearance might seem humble, the immense wealth and opportunity that lie beneath its surface are what truly set it apart. When you think of beautiful women in Europe, places like Paris, Milan, or Copenhagen might come to mind, right? But let me tell you, Liechtenstein has a secret. It's a tiny country, but when it comes to stunning women, it punches way above its weight. It's not just about looks, though yes, the women here are drop-dead gorgeous. It's about the confidence they exude and the elegance with which they carry themselves. Liechtenstein is a place where beauty isn't just skin-deep. It's about grace, sophistication, and a certain charm that comes from balancing leisure and business. And let's be real, when you're living in a country where people take their business and leisure time seriously, the women naturally reflect that mix of professionalism and relaxed elegance. The result? A population of women who know how to rock a business suit one minute and a chic dress the next without missing a beat. Cultural beauty standards here reflect this unique blend of modern sophistication and old-world charm. While there's no one ideal woman, thankfully, because who wants to be stuck in one box, right? There is a shared appreciation for natural beauty and individuality. Whether it's the classic Scandinavian-style blonde with piercing blue eyes, or the darker-haired, deep-eyed women with a Mediterranean flair, Liechtenstein women manage to embody a variety of looks while staying true to a sense of effortless elegance. Let's not forget that Liechtenstein, despite its small size, is a cultural crossroads in Europe. It's right next to Switzerland, Austria, and Germany, so the mix of cultural influences shows in the diversity of the people. This melting pot of influences means the women here come in all shapes, sizes, and backgrounds. But they all seem to share one common trait: confidence. It's that quiet, almost understated self-assurance that allows them to be both fierce and feminine at the same time. Whether they're working in banking, real estate, or running a family-owned business, these women know how to hold their own in a male-dominated world without ever seeming out of place. And let's talk about the style. The women of Liechtenstein are known for their impeccable fashion sense. They're not ones to flaunt flashy labels. Oh no, it's all about subtle luxury. Think well-tailored suits, smart coats, and scarves in neutral tones that scream sophistication without trying too hard. They understand that true style doesn't need to shout. It whispers. And the way they blend modern, minimalist fashion with the country's laid-back vibe? Perfection. But here's the thing. It's not just about looks or fashion. The ideal woman in Liechtenstein is someone who can easily navigate the balance between work and play. These women are just as likely to be seen at a business dinner, discussing the latest trends in finance, as they are strolling through the local farmer's market, picking up fresh produce for a cozy evening at home. That mix of professionalism and relaxation is reflected in how they carry themselves. It sets that perfect mix of elegance, poise, and authenticity. The interesting part about Liechtenstein is how these women seem to have perfected the art of maintaining their privacy. Unlike in bigger cities where people often crave the spotlight, the women here don't need to be the center of attention. They exude a quiet, almost mysterious confidence that makes them stand out without ever trying to. And honestly, there's something incredibly charming about that. There's a lot of power in subtlety, and these women have mastered it. Of course, being a small country with a population of just about 39,000 people, everyone knows everyone, and the social scene is pretty tight-knit. It's not uncommon for these women to be seen in cozy cafes or at community events, chatting with friends, business partners, or even the occasional tourist. And while you might think small-town life would make them shy away from attention, that's far from the case. Whether they re-attending a gala or just out for a walk in the picturesque streets of Vaduz, they're always poised and ready to turn heads, without ever looking like they're trying. And then, of course, there's the little bit of humor that comes with living in a country where everything feels almost too perfect. It's like, if you're walking down the street, you half expect to see the women of Liechtenstein in heels, sipping their coffee and reading a book about the latest financial trends, like it's completely normal. No, really, the ideal woman here could probably run a multinational corporation while simultaneously organizing a community event, all with a smile on her face and a perfectly curated Instagram feed. It's this mix of beauty, brains, and effortless style that makes the women of Liechtenstein so captivating. It's the perfect combination of sophistication and laid-back elegance, where they can seamlessly switch between business meetings and weekend getaways in the Alps without missing a beat. They understand that life isn't just about looking good, it's about feeling good too, and that confidence radiates wherever they go. In a country that thrives on subtlety and understated luxury, the women of Liechtenstein are the epitome of what it means to live with class and poise. Whether they're in the boardroom or enjoying an afternoon hike in the mountains, they make it all look so easy. So, next time you think of stunning European women, don't forget about Liechtenstein. They were quietly setting the bar high in a country that's as beautiful and sophisticated as they are. Living in Liechtenstein might seem like a dream to many, a blend of quiet luxury and stunning natural beauty, all in a place that feels like it's stuck in time, yet ahead of the curve. Imagine a place where the pace of life is slower than in big cities, but still brimming with the kind of luxury that most people only dream about. Here in this tiny European country, simplicity and sophistication coexist in a way that is as easy to embrace as it is to enjoy. Whether you're a nature lover, a foodie, or someone who simply enjoys the quiet of a small town, Liechtenstein offers something for everyone. But it's not just the scenery or the people that make life here special. It is the balance between the everyday and the extraordinary. Let's talk about the pace of life first. If you're used to the frantic hustle of major cities like London, New York, or Zurich, Liechtenstein will feel like a breath of fresh air. The stress of city life seems almost non-existent here. The days flow more naturally, with less of the rush and more of the let's take our time approach. It's a place where you can wake up and actually enjoy your morning coffee without being in a race against time. Mornings here don't begin with the sound of honking horns or the stress of navigating busy streets. Instead, you might hear birds chirping and the gentle hum of the town slowly coming to life. The beauty of Liechtenstein is that it manages to remain busy. People work, socialize, and live their lives, but everything moves at a rhythm that feels relaxed and natural. In terms of luxury, Liechtenstein doesn't wear it on its sleeve the way some countries do. It has the kind of place where you're more likely to see a well-dressed local strolling through the streets in understated, elegant attire than seeing flashy cars and over-the-top displays of wealth. Luxury here isn't about the show. It's about quality and sophistication, often in its simplest form. A beautifully designed home tucked into the hillside, a quiet evening in one of the many top-tier restaurants, or a relaxing afternoon at a local spa. These are the luxuries that Liechtenstein offers, and they're often delivered in a subtle, unpretentious way. There's a quiet elegance to the way people live here, and that's what makes it so appealing. The residents of Liechtenstein have learned to appreciate life's finer details without feeling the need to flaunt it. And then there's the nature. The nature. Liechtenstein is a country where the outdoors isn't just an activity, it as a way of life. Nestled between the Swiss Alps, Liechtenstein's landscapes are simply breathtaking. You can easily step outside your door and find yourself surrounded by majestic mountain views, lush valleys, and scenic trails that make you feel like you're living inside a postcard. The integration of nature into daily life is seamless here. Whether it's hiking up to the top of a mountain for some of the best views in Europe or skiing in the winter months, outdoor activities are part of the culture. In fact, most residents don't just talk about getting away to nature, they do it regularly. Hiking trails are easily accessible, and people often spend weekends exploring the beauty of the Alps, with the crisp air and the calm silence of the mountains offering a perfect escape from the demands of modern life. The integration of outdoor living with daily life doesn't just end with hiking or skiing. Liechtenstein's public spaces, parks, and even urban planning reflect the close relationship between the natural world and the lifestyle here. Imagine stepping out of your house, walking down a cobblestone street, and finding yourself surrounded by green parks, mountain views, and flowers that make everything feel more peaceful. It's not just about getting outside for a weekend trip. Nature is woven into the fabric of daily life, making it easy to live a healthy, active lifestyle that doesn't feel forced. When it comes to food, Liechtenstein offers a pleasant mix of tradition and modernity. The country has a strong agricultural base, which means that fresh, locally sourced food is abundant. You will find plenty of organic markets and small grocery stores that offer everything from fresh vegetables to artisanal cheeses and meats. Meals here tend to be hearty and comforting, with dishes influenced by the country's proximity to Switzerland and Austria. Think warm, filling stews, rich meats, and deliciously cheesy dishes. The country's small size also means that you will be eating food that's as fresh as it gets. Local farm-to-table options are the norm, and you won't find much that's prepackaged or processed. But here's the thing about food in Liechtenstein. It's not just about eating. It's about the experience. Dining here is a social event. Whether you're sitting in a cozy cafe with a cappuccino or sharing a long dinner with friends, there's an element of conversation and community that makes meals here more enjoyable. You'll see people taking their time, enjoying the company of others, and savoring their food without the rush that's often felt in bigger cities. There's a sense of, let's take our time that extends to meals, and it's a beautiful thing to witness. Public transportation is another area where Liechtenstein shines. The country may be small, but its public transport system is efficient and affordable. Whether you are taking the bus or the train, getting around is a breeze. The best part? It's all well connected, which means that even though you're in a small country, you can easily explore surrounding areas like Switzerland or Austria without much hassle. The buses run on time, and there's a real sense of pride in maintaining a well-organized and efficient system that makes commuting easy and stress-free. Leisure activities are abundant, and because Liechtenstein is a place where nature is always right outside your door, many leisure activities revolve around outdoor pursuits. If you're an active person, you'll love the fact that hiking and biking trails are everywhere, ready to be explored. In the winter, skiing and snowboarding are popular pastimes, and the slopes are just a short drive away. But leisure isn't only about physical activity. The country also offers plenty of cultural and historical experiences. From visiting the centuries-old Vaduz Castle to exploring the local museums or attending classical music concerts, there's always something to do, and most of it feels like it's steeped in rich tradition. Of course, it wouldn't be Liechtenstein without a strong sense of community. Despite its wealth, this country maintains a small-town charm that makes you feel like you belong. Everyone knows everyone, and there's a warmth in the way people interact. You'll find locals greeting each other in the streets and exchanging pleasantries as though time is on their side. The culture here emphasizes relationships, not just with nature and food, but with the people around you. It is not uncommon to see friends and neighbors gathering for casual barbecues or getting together for a local festival, making it feel like a tight-knit community where everyone is valued. Living in Liechtenstein is a mix of luxury and simplicity, with the country's stunning landscapes, relaxed pace of life, and high-quality living combining to create an environment that's both comfortable and inspiring. Whether you're enjoying a quiet afternoon in the mountains, taking a leisurely stroll through town, or savoring a traditional Liechtenstein meal, life here feels both luxurious and wonderfully simple. It's the kind of place that makes you appreciate the little things, the fresh air, the beautiful views, and the calm pace of life that's hard to find anywhere else. So, the big question is, how can you actually live in Liechtenstein on $1,000 a month? At first glance, you might think that it's impossible, especially given that Liechtenstein is often associated with wealth, high-end living, and luxury. But the truth is, it's entirely doable. With a bit of clever planning, a willingness to make a few adjustments, and a savvy approach to your finances, living in this beautiful, wealth-filled country on $1,000 isn't just a fantasy. It can be your reality. Let's break it down into the core areas of life: housing, transportation, and eating. These are the big-ticket items that usually make or break a budget, especially in a country where you might expect prices to be high. But with some creative thinking, you can navigate these expenses without overspending. When it comes to housing, this is probably the biggest concern for anyone trying to live on a budget in a place like Liechtenstein. It's true that rent in the capital, Vaduz, or in the more desirable parts of the country can be pricey, with one-bedroom apartments easily costing anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 per month. However, that doesn't mean you're priced out of living in Liechtenstein altogether. One of the best ways to make housing affordable is to look outside the capital. While Vaduz is the country's political and economic center, the surrounding areas offer significantly more affordable options. You can find a decent apartment or a small house in towns like Balzers, Schaan, or Aachen, where prices drop by a good 20% to 30% compared to the heart of Vaduz. These areas are just as picturesque, with stunning views of the Alps, but they are less popular with tourists and expats, which means lower rent prices. A small, one-bedroom apartment in these towns can cost as little as $700 to $900 per month, making it far more affordable while still providing access to everything Liechtenstein has to offer. Another option is to consider shared housing. If you're okay with living with roommates or sharing a flat, this could bring your rent down to just $500 to $600 per month. Shared living is common in Liechtenstein, especially among younger people or expats, and it's an excellent way to lower living costs while still enjoying the country, its natural beauty, and clean, quiet surroundings. But even if you are set on living in Vaduz, there are ways to make it work. Look for smaller apartments or studio units, which are often much more affordable than larger flats. These compact living spaces are just as cozy and efficient and often come with lower utility costs as well. If you're able to find a place that's slightly outside the city center, you can expect to pay significantly less while still being just a short commute away from the heart of the country. Next, let's talk about transportation. In a country as small as Liechtenstein, you don't need a car to get around. In fact, public transportation is an excellent and affordable option for navigating the country. The bus and train systems in Liechtenstein are efficient, well-connected, and incredibly affordable. A monthly bus or train pass will cost you around $50 to $70, depending on the type of pass you get. These passes cover most routes within the country, allowing you to move around freely without worrying about additional costs for travel. The beauty of Liechtenstein-ES transportation system is that you are never too far away from a bus stop or train station. The country is small, about 25 kilometers long, so it's easy to get from one side to the other without spending much time or money. The public transport here is also very reliable, with buses and trains running on time, which makes it easy to rely on them for your daily commute. If you're more into an eco-friendly lifestyle, or simply want to save even more money, cycling is another great option. Liechtenstein is very bike-friendly, with plenty of designated bike lanes and trails that make cycling through the towns and valleys both practical and enjoyable. Whether it's getting to work, going grocery shopping, or simply enjoying the stunning scenery, biking is not only a great way to stay fit, but it's also a great way to cut down on transportation costs. A good quality bicycle can cost anywhere from $200 to $500, and after that the costs are minimal, just the occasional maintenance or new tires. Now, let's talk about food. Yes, you're living in a wealthy country, and the temptation to eat out in fancy restaurants is strong. But if you want to stick to a $1,000 budget, you'll need to take a more mindful approach to eating. Cooking at home is your best friend when it comes to saving money on food. Fresh produce, meats, and dairy products are all available at local markets and grocery stores, and they tend to be reasonably priced. For example, a week's worth of groceries for a single person can be as low as $40 to $60, depending on your choices. A simple grocery list of staple items like pasta, rice, vegetables, fruits, eggs, bread, and local cheese will allow you to eat well without breaking the bank. Stick to buying locally grown products when possible, as they tend to be cheaper than imported goods and they support local farmers. For dining out, it's not necessary to avoid it altogether. Just be smart about it. There are plenty of local cafes and bistros where you can grab a satisfying meal for around $10 to $15. This is significantly cheaper than the high-end restaurants that Liechtenstein is known for, which can cost $30 or more per meal. By limiting yourself to casual spots and avoiding the pricier places, you can still experience the local food scene without blowing your budget. And if you're looking for a nice weekend treat, grab a coffee and pastry at a local cafe for $3 to $5. Liechtenstein has no shortage of charming, budget-friendly spots to enjoy. It's one thing to talk about living on $1,000, but let's look at real-life examples. There are plenty of people who manage to live comfortably in Liechtenstein while sticking to this budget. Take Sarah, an expat from Germany who has been living in Liechtenstein for 2 years now. She rents a one-bedroom apartment in Balzers, a small town outside the capital, for $850 a month. She spends about $60 on public transportation and $200 on groceries each month. Sarah also loves to cook, so she enjoys making meals at home and occasionally dining out at affordable spots. With her lifestyle, she lives well within her $1,000 budget, all while enjoying the beautiful views and quiet pace of life in Liechtenstein. Another example is John, a freelancer who recently moved to Liechtenstein. He rents a small apartment in Eschen for about $750 a month. His transportation costs are minimal, as he mostly bikes around town. He keeps his grocery bills low by shopping at local markets and cooking simple meals, spending around $50 to $60 a week. For John, the key to living on $1,000 is simplicity. He doesn't need much to live comfortably, and the beauty of Liechtenstein is more than enough to make his lifestyle enjoyable. For those who want to push their budget even further, there are several alternative living options that can make Liechtenstein even more affordable. If you're open to shared housing, it is a great way to bring your living costs down to $500 to $600 a month. Whether it's renting a room in a shared apartment or finding a house to split with others, this is a great option for singles or young professionals who don't mind having roommates. Another option is to look for smaller apartments or studios that are located a bit further outside of the larger towns. These places are often much cheaper, but they still offer a comfortable living space. You might not have the city views or be close to all the nightlife, but you'll have the peace and quiet of a small town and the chance to save money. Living in Liechtenstein on $1,000 a month is absolutely achievable, if you're smart about your choices. By focusing on affordable housing options, using public transportation or biking, and being mindful of your food and dining habits, you can enjoy all the beauty and luxury this country has to offer without draining your bank account. With a little creativity and a willingness to embrace the simple pleasures of life, Liechtenstein becomes a surprisingly affordable place to call home. To truly understand how it's possible to live in Liechtenstein on a budget, let's take a look at some real stories from people who have made it work. From expats to locals, their experiences offer a glimpse into how you can enjoy the high-quality life that this country offers without breaking the bank. Sarah, a 32-year-old expat from Germany, moved to Liechtenstein 2 years ago. She had heard of the country's wealth, but what attracted her most was its peaceful nature, close-knit community, and breathtaking natural surroundings. She was surprised to learn that despite the wealth surrounding her, she could live comfortably on a modest budget. Sarah found a small one-bedroom apartment in Balzers, a town just outside the capital, Vaduz, for $850 per month. While Vaduz might be the epicenter of the country's activity, she discovered that living in a quieter, more residential area provided both tranquility and affordability. Living outside of Vaduz was honestly one of the best decisions I made, Sarah says. I'm still just a short bus ride away from the capital, but the cost of living is much lower here, and the views are phenomenal. It's a perfect blend of luxury and peace. To manage her living expenses, Sarah became savvy with her grocery shopping. I shop at the local markets and buy fresh local produce, she explains. I spend around $50 to $60 per week on groceries, and I cook most of my meals at home. There's something so satisfying about preparing my own food with ingredients that come from local farms. I also make use of the farmers' markets for organic fruits and vegetables at great prices. Sarah keeps her transportation costs low by using a monthly bus pass, which she says costs her around $60 per month. The buses here are really reliable, and because Liechtenstein is so small, it's never a long ride to get anywhere, she says with a smile. I don't need a car, which saves me money and makes my life simpler. Plus, cycling is another affordable and fun way to get around when the weather's nice. Despite living on a tight budget, Sarah doesn't feel deprived. I still get to enjoy all the perks of living in a wealthy country, she says. I'm able to enjoy the stunning landscapes, take weekend hikes, and even indulge in the occasional dinner out. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. Sarah's story is a perfect example of how you can embrace the quieter, more affordable side of Liechtenstein while still being surrounded by the luxurious lifestyle the country is known for. John, a 28-year-old freelancer from the United States, moved to Liechtenstein to pursue a more relaxed lifestyle while continuing his work in digital marketing. The first thing he noticed when he arrived was how accessible the country was in terms of affordability. He quickly realized that while Liechtenstein had a reputation for wealth, it was possible to thrive here even with a modest income. John rents a small one-bedroom apartment in Eschen, a quiet village that's about a 15-minute drive from Vaduz. His rent is $750 per month, and he finds the location ideal for both work and leisure. I love the tranquility of Eschen. It's not as busy as Vaduz, but it's close enough to everything I need. Plus, the cost of living is much more affordable here. John works from home, so he's able to keep his living expenses low. He says that his monthly expenses are roughly $1,000, and he's able to save a little each month while still enjoying the beauty of Liechtenstein. "I don't need a car," he explains. "Public transport is incredibly efficient here. I also bike when the weather's nice, which is a great way to stay active and explore the country." When it comes to food, John's approach is practical. He spends about $60 a week on groceries, mostly buying fresh, seasonal produce from local stores and markets. "I cook most of my meals," he says. "Eating out can be expensive in Liechtenstein, so I limit dining at restaurants to once or twice a month. But I still get to enjoy some of the local food and have a bit of a treat every now and then. Plus, I've discovered some fantastic, budget-friendly cafes where I can grab a coffee and chat with friends." For John, the biggest adjustment was learning how to balance his work and leisure time. In the US, it's all about hustle and constant activity. But here, people are really focused on quality of life. They work hard, but they also make time for themselves. "It's something I've had to get used to," John admits. "But I love it. The slow pace has helped me focus more on my personal well-being. I go hiking or visit the spa on weekends, and it feels like I'm living in a paradise, but I'm still living well within my means." Anna, a 26-year-old from the Netherlands, moved to Liechtenstein for work and decided to try living in a shared apartment to save on rent. "When I first arrived, I was a little worried about the cost of living here, but I found that shared housing is really common, especially in places like Schaan," Anna says. "I was able to find a room in a 3-bedroom apartment for $600 per month, which included all utilities. I couldn't believe how affordable it was." Anna shares her apartment with 2 other expats, which not only helps with rent, but also provides a strong sense of community. "The best part is the people I live with," she says. "We cook together, share meals, and talk about everything from work to our experiences in Liechtenstein. It feels like a family." As for getting around, Anna uses public transport and doesn't miss having a car. "A bus pass here is so affordable. It's also really convenient for commuting. I can get anywhere I need to go without wasting money on a car." One of the challenges Anna faced was adjusting to the different pace of life. "At first, I thought I was missing out on the busy city life I was used to, but soon enough I realized that the relaxed lifestyle in Liechtenstein is a huge bonus. It's not just about the money. It's about living in a place that allows you to slow down and truly enjoy life." Sophie, a 41-year-old local, has lived in Liechtenstein all her life. As someone who has always lived with a focus on sustainability and simplicity, she's been able to maintain a balanced and comfortable lifestyle without splurging. "Growing up here, I was always taught to value quality over quantity," Sophie says. "I've never needed much, and I found that with a simple lifestyle, you can still enjoy everything Liechtenstein has to offer." Sophie lives in a small 2-bedroom apartment in Vaduz, which she rents for $950 per month. "It's not a huge place, but it's cozy and has everything I need. I don't spend money on things I don't use, and that helps me keep my costs low," Sophie explains. She also makes a point to shop locally, choosing fresh, seasonal products from nearby markets rather than expensive imported goods. "I love cooking, and I make a lot of meals from scratch. It's healthier and it saves me money," she adds. Though she's local, Sophie understands the appeal of the quieter side of Liechtenstein. People always talk about how expensive it is to live here, but that's really not the case if you live simply. There are so many affordable ways to enjoy life without overspending. These stories show that it's not just possible but realistic to live comfortably in Liechtenstein on a budget. Whether you're renting a small apartment outside the capital, using public transportation, cooking meals at home, or sharing living space with others, there are plenty of ways to enjoy the country's high-quality lifestyle without stretching your finances too thin. Like many people here, Sarah, John, Anna, and Sophie have learned to embrace the simplicity and beauty of Liechtenstein, all while living on a budget that works for them. The key is being smart, adjusting to the local pace of life and finding a balance between comfort and simplicity. Living in one of Europe's richest countries doesn't have to be out of reach. you just need the right mindset. So, after all the stories, the tips, and the surprising revelations, here's the ultimate question. At first glance, this tiny, wealthy country might seem like it's out of reach for anyone on a tight budget. After all, it's nestled between Switzerland and Austria, countries famous for their high living costs, and it has a reputation for being home to some of the richest people in the world. But after taking a closer look, the truth is, Liechtenstein has a lot more to offer than meets the eye, and it just might be the perfect place for anyone looking to enjoy an affordable European lifestyle while still living in luxury. Living in Liechtenstein on $1,000 a month may sound impossible at first, but we've already seen how it can be done, whether it's by opting for a modest apartment in a quieter town like Balzers or Schaan, embracing the simple joys of cooking at home, or taking advantage of the country's efficient and affordable public transportation system. People like Sarah, John, Anna, and Sophie have found ways to live comfortably and even thrive in this beautiful country while keeping their expenses low. It is all about thinking outside the box and finding the right balance between the country's hidden luxury and your budget. But let us be honest. What's truly surprising is how much value you get for your money. Liechtenstein offers everything you would expect from a wealthy country: the stunning landscapes, the high-quality living, and the peaceful, slow-paced lifestyle, all for far less than what you'd pay in bigger cities like Zurich or Vienna. And here's the kicker. While the cost of living is surprisingly affordable, the quality of life here is far from cheap. It's not about spending less, it's about living smarter, and that's the real gem of Liechtenstein. Sure, it might not be as flashy as Monaco or as well known as Switzerland, but that's exactly what makes it special. It's a place where you can enjoy world-class beauty, privacy, and luxury without the need to splurge. You can have your cake, a beautifully crafted pastry from a local cafe, and eat it too, without blowing your budget. In a way, Liechtenstein is like that quiet friend at the party who doesn't need to shout to get your attention. They were just quietly stunning in the background, offering something more meaningful. So, the big question, is Liechtenstein the next hidden gem for budget travelers? Honestly, it's a resounding yes. If you can embrace its slower pace of life, appreciate the simple pleasures, and focus on the value it offers, you can have a dream life here while spending way less than you'd expect. But maybe you're still skeptical. Maybe you're thinking, is it too good to be true? Well, that's where the humor comes in, because it feels a bit like a well-kept secret that only a few lucky people know about. It's almost as if Liechtenstein is quietly waving its hand in the corner of Europe saying, "Pust, you can live here for cheap and enjoy all this luxury, just don't tell anyone." Now, I want to hear from you. What do you think about living in Liechtenstein on a budget? Would you take the leap and embrace the quiet luxury it offers? Or would you pass on this hidden gem and look elsewhere? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I am sure there are plenty of you out there who have your own stories or tips to share about finding budget-friendly places in the heart of Europe. Maybe you've lived in Liechtenstein, or perhaps you've discovered other lesser-known places that offer incredible value for money. Whatever your experience, I'd love to hear it. Let us get a conversation going about the real hidden gems of Europe and how to enjoy all the beauty and luxury without breaking the bank. Because, as we've learned today, the best things in life aren't always the most expensive. Sometimes, the real luxury is living simply, living smart, and enjoying every moment of it. So, here we are, Liechtenstein, a country of hidden wealth, breathtaking views, and an astonishing lifestyle, all for a surprisingly affordable $1,000 a month. Now, the big question remains. Would you live here for $1,000? Would you consider making the move to this quiet, luxurious country with its peaceful pace of life and stunning landscapes, knowing that you could enjoy all of it without draining your savings? It's a bit of a risk, right? Moving to a place you might not have even thought of before, leaving behind what you know for the unknown. But here's the thing. Sometimes the best experiences in life come when we step out of our comfort zones and take a leap of faith. Liechtenstein is a place where you can live luxuriously and affordably, without all the chaos of bigger cities. So, I want to hear from you. What's stopping you from taking that leap? Do you think you could pull off living in such a rich country on a budget? Or do you have your doubts about how achievable it really is? Either way, I'd love to know your thoughts, your concerns, and whether you'd be willing to give it a shot. Feel free to drop your thoughts in the comments below. Maybe you've traveled to Liechtenstein, or perhaps you have your own hidden gem of a destination where the cost of living is shockingly affordable. Share your tips, experiences, or questions with us. Have you discovered any other places where luxury meets affordability in the same way? This is the perfect space for us to exchange ideas, stories, and inspiration. And here is something I want you to think about. What is the most affordable luxurious destination you've ever been to? I know it's tough to pick just one, but think back to the places where you were living like a king or queen without breaking the bank. Was it a quiet town tucked away in the mountains? A hidden beach town you stumbled upon? Let's hear your recommendations and maybe add a few more gems to the list. But wait, there's more. Next time we're in Liechtenstein, what do you want to see? Maybe you've got some unique spots or activities in mind that you think every traveler should experience in this tiny country. Drop your suggestions, and who knows, we might just create the next video based on your input. Let's make this a community-driven journey where we all contribute and learn together. So, whether you're ready to take the leap or simply intrigued by the idea, I want you to be part of this conversation. Leave a comment, share this video with someone who's looking for their next adventure, or ask any questions you still have about living in Liechtenstein. Let's keep the discussion going, because one thing's for sure, there are more hidden gems out there just waiting to be discovered, and you could be the next one to find them. So, what are you waiting for? Let's talk about it.